Batgirl. Hi, I'm Vince Weston, and this is my update on the ASM Batman group build. These get to be such a mouthful. As I had originally said, I'm doing two different Batgirls. One of which, she's now standing in the background there, is one I started quite some time ago. See if that'll shadow out a little better and show her off. And then Batrina, which is a Jimmy Flintstone resin. These are both resin kits, as I've probably previously mentioned. The latest and greatest is I basically finished up most of my seam work and smoothing out on Batrina here, and got most of what I needed to get done on her. So I primed all the parts now, at least with the first prime, so that I could find out where the rest of my mistakes are, and one of them is right here. I better take something smaller than my big fat finger to point this out. Right here at the back of her hair is a piece for the pour, and there's another one over here. And I think there's one in the, yep, there's one deep down in that shadow. And of course the mold marks here along her hair. So I have to clean that up still. There's obviously some other work I need to do. I just noticed down here there's a big glob inside where the bottom of her zipper is that I'll probably have to rework. A lot of the time that I spent on doing her seams and everything else was taken up by working the sculpt. The sculpt itself was probably originally great, but unfortunately the molded version I had, things were ugh, to say it at best. So one thing I did do was I've put some silly putty on where the glue points would be, so when I sprayed her, I covered them, masked them with silly putty, so I could get the primer on. And now I just have to start reworking places I've missed, and I'm starting to spot more, so I don't want to talk about it. So I'll put her down for now. And I did the same with this Batgirl. And as you can see, I've started to do some more cleanup. I found some bubbles, one in her cheek here, and not this cheek, this cheek. And there was also a bubble here at the bottom of her cape, and I've filled those with super glue and sanded them down. So once again, this one is much further along and much more ready for paint. So that's that. I'll put her back there because I got to talk about that. Here's the the rest of the parts. Actually, all of those are for Batrina. This is the only part that goes with the Batgirl, which is her hand, which I guess I should point out goes like that. So I got that much done. In my travels, well, I guess I should tell the backstory of this. I realized I tried to stand Batrina up, and I tried to sand her feet so that I could get her to stand on her own, and I've come to the conclusion that that's not going to happen. So I've put some pins in her heel and up the front of her other foot, and realized I need a base. for that. So, in my wandering through Hobby Lobby, I found these. Their wood pile in their wood section. I'm sure Michaels carries the same thing. This is a 2-pack of 5x7 ovals, and I figured that's kind of perfect. The Batgirl, I'm going to probably make a Batgirl emblem based on the Batgirl, or the bat emblem on her chest. And for Batrina, most of the photographs I've ever seen of Yvonne Craig offset, a couple pictures I have seen, it was kind of an outside patio. So, in the most recent Scale Auto magazine, strangely enough, they were talking about a simple base using Fimo, which is a self-drying clay, and making bricks. And like I said, the pictures that I've seen of Yvonne Craig offset had her basically walking on a brick walkway. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Duh. Anyway, so I figured I'd build a brick walkway across the one for Batrina to stand on. And that should come out pretty good. Well, it should work out all right. So that's where I'm at the moment. It doesn't look like a lot of progress, but like I've said, Batrina took quite a bit of time. I've got several hours in just this one arm that holds the cowl, and trying to figure, get that all aligned. And also, I actually, for the hand that goes with this, there was a huge pour stub here, and I had to cut that all away and grind down to make a nice little round piece. And then, of course, the hand here had the other pour stub on it. Had to cut that all off and then gouge into there so the hand will fit inside the sleeve. Hopefully that sort of will show. You get my drift on that. So that's, that was a good couple hours of getting this all figured out and cleaned up and all those other nice things. But, and then of course the other arm. Part of the big stress with this arm is that it kind of is supposed to come up and look like that's how she's holding her utility belt. That's over her shoulder. So trying to get that lined up and get the pieces so that they'll fit together. I'm still not final on that, but it's pretty darn close. So, that's, like I said, where I'm at. Oh, I guess I just should show these off so they don't feel so lonely. Is the packets for the utility belt. That will be over her shoulder, which is right here. Big fat hands. Okay. And those squares have spots that they go into. I think there's one on the back, and the other 3 are along here somewhere. But that took a few minutes to square them off and get them cleaned up. They weren't too bad, but a lot of the work was clearing off the pour stubs and then cleaning up the sculpt where the pour stubs had gone into, and working that all out. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm hoping to get them further cleaned up. Like I said, there's not too much work to do on Batgirl. Most of it's still on Batrina. That needs to be done. Guess I'll lean her back here so she's kind of in shot. So that, like I said, most of that's still to come on that. So hopefully I can get most of that done sometime soon. Get her reprimed to cover, some light priming over the places that I've scratched on, so it'll be all consistent. Oh, I did decide to use the white primer was intentional, and this is what I used, by the way, is the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X Ultra Cover flat white primer, because I want the colors to be semi-bright, particularly since it's flesh tones in a lot of the places. So I didn't want to go with like a black primer that would drag the colors down. A woman's skin tends to be a little bit brighter, so that's where I'm heading. And that's why I avoided the grays and the blacks of the primers. And besides, this one was originally primed in white anyway, so I thought, well, a white primer would be good. So that was the decision making on that. And that should bring me to closing my mouth soon. Alright, so we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Been enjoying everybody's work here. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.